Listen, you bought the car you wanted, but now you're stuck in a 5-year sentence paying 20% interest for the first 2 years. That auto loan is a cash flow killer. But what if I told you that you only need $300 to pay off that entire $40,000 loan much quicker? I'm going to show you the math on how a single $300 trick can turn that amortization and that interest going to them can turn into interest going to you. Let's get into it. So the top secret in paying off all loans, not just auto loans, would be making sure that our priorities are adjusted to not just paying the minimum monthly payment, but to paying off the balance as soon as possible. That's why instead of focusing on interest rates, we want to focus on time and balance. Focusing on time and balance helps you with time collapse transactions. And you're going to see exactly what I'm talking about in this scenario. So let's go ahead and go over it. $40,000 at 6%, $773 a month. Okay, that's what it equals. You remember how to calculate that? Remember, we take the 6%, whatever the interest rate is, we divide it by 12, then we multiply it by the principal that's going to give us the interest, all right? That interest is what it's going to be, and then whatever's left over is going to be the principal, okay? What I want you to realize is that we must now take what the bank knows and make it our own, all right? Watch this. 1 month, right now, you're paying the $200 towards the bank, and then $573 is going towards the principal. That's what's paying this principal down, not the $773. Did you catch that? It's $573 that's paying that principal down. The rest is going to the bank, all right? And look, you can't fault them because interest is simply the cost of borrowing money, all right? Now, in a year, if you were to continue to pay the way they want you to pay, you would pay $2,102 in interest, okay, which isn't bad, right? And then to the principal is $10,172 towards the principal. Yes, you are spending more towards the principal. What we want to see if we can actually accelerate that even more with not $1,000, okay? Not even $10,000. We don't want to do that. We want to do it by $300. So let's go ahead and make sure that we are putting that there. Now, with the $300, it wouldn't matter where that $300 comes from, but I want you to come with me here. You could always pay it the regular way, which is you're taking it from your cash flow, right? Let's say you have national average $5,000 in income, okay? Expenses, let's say it's $4,000. And then of course your cash flow is going to be at $1,000, right? You could always take the $300, okay, from your cash flow and just simply do an extra payment. You can even do, as we've shared in other videos, you can go ahead and bi-weekly payments, right? $150 for the first 2 weeks, $150 for the next 2 weeks to go ahead and equal that $300. Or, this is going to be wild, right? Or you can be bold and say, you know what? Why use my money if I don't have to? Now, CJ, wait a minute. You're going to recommend a line of credit instead of the extra payments coming from you? Yes. Why not? Why not get into the habit right now of using other people's money? They're the ones that trusted you, all right? You've got the reputation to prove, hey, they can trust you with money. Why not use other people's money, this line of credit, to pay off your liabilities? Because this car loan here is a liability. So let's go ahead and do it. That $300 is coming from your line of credit. And yes, there is an interest to be paid on that line of credit. However, remember how to get rid of interest. You simply take care of the principal, right? Very quickly. So let me go ahead and I will go through all of the math on why you should do it this way right after this. That $300 that's coming from your line of credit, what I want you to do now is I want you to deploy it towards the principal. Now, once you deploy that $300 coming from your line of credit to the principal, what's going to happen to the interest? It's going to be dramatically reduced. Now, how are you going to do this? All right. How are you going to do this every month? You're simply going to take from your line of credit. All right. Then you're actually going to replenish from your income, right? That line of credit each and every month. Now, the question comes up, what about the interest? All right. If you paid, please follow me on this. If you paid before the 21 to 25 days, what's that called? You have 21 to 25 days of grace period. Oh, it's a grace period. All right. So between that 21 to 25 days, and of course, check your terms and conditions. If you pay that off, right, within that time frame, how much interest, and I'll get out of the way here, how much interest are you charged? Zero. Huh. Okay. All right. But let's say you were actually charged, let's say $100 each month, which is astronomical, right? You're charged $100 for using your line of credit each and every month. Let's just say that, okay? Which is not true at all, okay? Because you and I both know how grace periods work. Right? But let's say you get charged $100 a month for that $300, okay? So that's $100 each and every month. Let's put that right here. And we'll put a plus sign here because you're getting charged that in interest every month. Let's say, okay, you know how grace periods work, right? If you pay within that grace period, you're not getting charged interest, okay? We're being astronomical here and ridiculous to show you how important it is to use these banking tools. All right. Now, let's go back to our scenario of paying off the car loan. We're taking a measly $300 and we're doing this each and every month from our line of credit. Okay. Remember, $40,000 at 6%, $773 each month. Let's compare, right, the bank's way of doing things versus the velocity banking way of doing things. Okay, we're going to go ahead and take a look at what we have once we use our line of credit to pay that big principal each and every month. Remember what we're doing to replenish our line of credit. You're using our income to do it, okay? Which is going to be a very simple thing to do. We are controlling our cash flow. Let's go ahead and look at it. Is the velocity banking way of doing things better? Now, remember with the line of credit, we charge that ridiculous amount, which you're not going to get charged off of $300, right? But we charged it to show you and to prove a point. $100 each and every month. I mean, you take it out, you're charged $100. Take it out, you pay the principal with that $300, and then you're charged $100. But we're proving a point here, all right? Velocity banking, you're gonna actually be paying $4,300. So about $4,300 in interest versus with the traditional way of paying it, you'd pay $6,398. But remember that $100 each and every month, all right? So we also have to add that on top of what we did there. And if we do that, It is a complete failure. Look at this. $4,200 in interest for a total of $8,500 because we are adding 4,300 and 4,200. That is $8,500 in interest. And it's a total failure, right? Well, you do get back your most precious asset, and that is time, right? So you're going to be paying this off in 3.5 years if you do it the velocity banking way versus the 6 years. Now, let's go back to how much interest we paid. CJ, why would I pay an extra $4,200, right? I mean, that's $8,500 in interest. Why would I do that? I would rather stick with traditional banking. Yes, it is $8,500 in this scenario, which is not real at all. Can you name the unreal part? The $100. You're not getting charged $100 to use your line of credit. You took out $300 each month. No, you're not. It doesn't happen, especially when you pay it off between the 21 to 25 days. Why would you want to use other people's money? Because now you're in control of it and you still have your money. You say, well, wait a minute, CJ. We still have to pay the card back or the line of credit back. You sure do. And then once you pay it, who does that money belong to? Do you not have the $300 anymore? You see, when you pay your mortgage, it's not yours anymore. When you pay your car loan, that $773 is not yours anymore. But when you pay your line of credit, it's yours. So you pay it and then you use it. And by the way, just in case you're wondering, with lines of credit, you can now invest in short-term amortized investments. And this $773 in both principal and interest can come to you by simply using your HELOC, your BLOC, your PLOC. If you have any questions about that, we do have a passive income link right there in the description below. I want you to see what's possible though, folks, because a lot of you are now using the lines of credit and you're seeing possibilities that you could not have seen had you not opened up your mind and did the math yourself. All right. You know, here we believe in the Money Max account. We definitely want to share that with you. That's there in the link below as well. If you have any questions on what we went over and how much velocity banking can help you, because the bottom line is this 4,200 is non-existent. So you're just paying the 4,300 and it's less than 6,398. And the time you get to pay it off, right? 3.5 years instead of the 6 is much better. This is what it's all about, all right? It's all about capturing this cash flow, because this is a cash flow killer right here. But it's all about capturing the cash flow as soon as possible so that that can come directly to you. Now, that's $773. You add that to that $1,000, that's $1,773. Can you do better with your money than the bank can? I think you can, right? I think you can use your line of credit to get you a passive income generator. That's what I call it. That will yield you way more than $1,773. As a matter of fact, it can yield you $4,000. It can yield you $5,000 each and every month in not earned income. but passive income. I want you to remember that. I'm going to be sharing that in each and every video, because if you have a, let's say, $7,500, okay, investment, all right, from your line of credit, you're going to yield, let's just say $230, which is very conservative. This is at a rate of 8%. And again, on this one, this is principal and interest. Now, with that $7,500, if it took you about 4 months to pay that off, what can you do again? See, what people are failing to realize is that if you can pay off your debts fast, you can retire fast. Let me say that again. If you can pay off your debt in 3.5 years, you can also make sure your retirement is as good, right? And 3.5 years. Okay, it's called the 50-50 method, where you're actually investing, right, as well as paying off your loans very quickly. All right. And if you have any more questions about that, of course, we've got that link to the passive income, monthly income for you. And this video right here will do you good. God bless you, and we'll see you in another video.